Hello, welcome to Cryptonomy. Today we're going to have a macro outlook and fundamental view on the market. So we're going to be discussing Bitcoin, but we might also mention gold and the stock market as well. So in the news, recently there's a new virus, right, the Nipah, which is extremely dangerous. 40 to 75% of people die from it. It has emerged from India, and that virus is not new, right? So it has come before. If we go look there, in 1998, it killed over 100 people in Malaysia, 100 people in Bangladesh, and caused a deadly outbreak in India. Now, that was very contained, but it's very dangerous. So 17 out of the 19 patients died. Maybe the virus has been mutated to spread faster or something. So it is important that we monitor the situation, not only for our health, but also if we are market speculators, this could, shift the regime and shift the dynamics of the game or accelerate what is currently even happening, right? A lot of bad stuff happen in the world every day, and as market speculators, we just have to know how to navigate these things and make sure we don't lose money, and if we make money, then it's part of the game. So why so dangerous as well? There's no vaccines, there's limited treatment to it, and the World Health Organization started to show some warnings. Another things that we're going to be discussing today is the war between Trump and Iran that is accelerating, the Epstein files, and of course the government shutdown that is going to happen soon. So for the Nipah virus, we already see a lot of the camera's lagging again. Logi. One second. Yeah, we're back in action. So a lot of Asian countries are actually locking their airports and doing more screening and being careful about the situation. So in Thailand, where I'm situated right now, they're actually doing screenings in airports, people coming from India, and I think they will add more countries to the list soon. But this is all just happening so recently. This has been 8 hours ago or something, right? This is a video that shows how fast everything can spread, right? If we maybe restart the video. Yeah, that's how it would look. So India, then by I think May it gets to Thailand. That's an AI generated response. So of course it's not accurate. It just gives us an idea of the time horizon of this disease if it continues with us. And it seems like if it spreads, it's not going away soon. It's just going to keep increasing to take over a lot of countries. And the impacts of it are yet to be seen, but we have to be prepared to know what assets to be invested in during such times when you see wars and virus outbreaks and a lot of tension in superpower countries that could lead to a lot of turbulence and volatility in the market, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of the market when it is volatile, right? So yeah, that's how it would look. The second thing we're going to be discussing is Trump, America, and Iran, and not just only America, but there's probably some people support America, and there are some people supporting Iran. For example, China and Russia did have military drills just a few days ago in the Sea of Oman and other areas around Iran. So I think they're signaling that we're prepared to defend Iran, and this is what usually happens proceeding to wars, world wars especially. So in World War One, the blocks were kind of being created. So if you look at this is World War One, right? You had Britain, Russia, France, and Germany, and the Austrian-Hungarian countries, Italy as well, I think. Yeah. So that was one block, and that was one block, and this is what we're seeing right now. Iran, China, Russia, and right now it seems like America and maybe some European countries, of course, will join, and Britain will, I think, would support America or something. But right now, America's allies are not clear who they are, due to the fact that America has been bad to pushing away their friends, and making more enemies with their enemies. I hope everybody knows what they're doing and we just de-escalate the whole situation. But as market speculators, we need to understand what's happening. So this is what I think is the current situation, right? NATO versus BRICS. Some of the countries here and there would join. World War II, we've seen something similar. There was blocks being created, right? So similar things, right? But what triggered World War II is actually the assassination of. Oh no, this is World War One. There was for every World War happens, like you see escalation, moving of military equipment. For example, when Russia attacks Ukraine, they moved literally all their armies right next to Ukraine. Said, "Yeah, we're not attacking, guys. We're not attacking." And then 1 week later, they literally just enter Ukraine, right? This is what happens. First, you see military buildup, what we're seeing, what America is doing right now, and then you see the military alliances being created, and then just one event leads to the trigger. So the event in World War One was assassination of this, I think, Austrian man, right? Um, yeah, something like that. He was assassinated, and that triggered the war, right? But there was a lot of tit for tat before that, but that was the point. So everything just happens in a flash after all the blocks been created and all the military is ready. We're like, yeah, we're ready. Anything you do, we're just gonna move on you, right? That's the thing. Also for World War II, Germany, for example, went to take Austria and other countries. I'm not sure if it was Serbia or something, but when they took Poland, that's when Britain and France and the alliances did move on Germany, right? Yeah, usually it's that one event that spreads out the war, but military equipments and alliances are created prior to that, which we see right now. We have reached the military equipment placements. Right here you have 9 major U.S. Navy warships, including the Abraham Lincoln, and multiple stuff being deployed right around Iran. You can see that Qatar and Dubai are holding some exercises together, right? For safety and stuff. We never see that stuff in the Middle East, right? So outlier events like that you need to kind of watch out for. And if you go look at the military base in Qatar, the Al Adid Air Base, which has been talked about a lot, you see a lot of military equipment and dangerous American aircrafts and jets being there, fighter jets. Another thing we can discuss is the Epstein files. Trump back at it again. Yep, they will release more stuff, but what's the funny thing is Elon Musk is also in it, and many major people like Obama and Bill Gates. So funny for Elon Musk to talk about Epstein's files. They're not released because Trump is there, but he's there too. So he visited the island multiple times in 2011 to 2012, 2013. Interesting, Elon, interesting. Ripple and Stellar also in the Epstein emails. I mean, I'm not surprised. It's Ripple and Stellar. Come on. But sorry to all the Ripple fans, but yeah, not my cup of tea. Another thing is the U.S. government shutdown skyrocket to 88%. The odds of it happening. So there's a lot of national politics that is happening in America right now, which adds pressure and I think can add stress to make emotional decisions. It's not so good to see that, and all of that in total, I think the war will be bad for Bitcoin. Okay, yeah, Bitcoin is a safe haven, and it only rally real believers into Bitcoin because of the fact that it protects you against governments and corruption, and we don't want their control and stuff like that. But you need to understand also a lot of investors right now are not those people. They're people that want to make money, and they will treat it as a risk asset. So I think that narrative will dominate, and this is why I think we're seeing large corrections by Bitcoin. We've talked about this, and we've talked about in a previous video how we're going to break the 200-week SMA very quickly if it happens with a certain probabilistic chance. So yeah, I'm working. So the video is here. You can watch it if you want.
Probabilistically, right? So investing is all
Later.
about probabilistic. If you're thinking of becoming a profitable speculator in the market, then you're thinking.
So yeah, we discuss here why it is likely to break, and we check.
What very
examples
previous
on
bear
history. For
markets,
example, all
when
previous
you break
cycles,
that,
we
you
when we
just
break the
accelerate downward
when we break the 100-week SMA, we break it hard and rapidly, and it's not a small move.
very, very quickly and aggressively, and this by monitoring.
So yeah, I think this is what we're seeing right now. We've also predicted the start of the consolidation phase in another video. Bitcoin SMA breakdown nobody talks about. Yeah. But for gold, so for Bitcoin, I think the outbreak is bad. We have seen what happened during COVID-19. I'll be like, but we've had a huge rally after COVID-19. You're correct. You're very correct. But that's after quantitative easing came around. But if you want to see the true effect of a pandemic move, you know, for Bitcoin, it's that right here. Here, just the printer started printing money and interest rates were just dropped immediately. And of course, that's very bullish. That narrative dominates any outbreak. You increase the money supply, it doesn't matter. Not nice to say, but it doesn't matter how many people die if you increase the money supply. You have to also think about that, right? It's bad, but markets are all about liquidity. So if there's an outbreak, businesses close down, and revenue, people stop having a lot of money because they don't have work, and businesses stop having a lot of money because nobody's spending, then of course Bitcoin is going to go down. And that's why in outbreaks such things happen. But if the money printer is on, then all that is not going to happen. The war, Bitcoin is a risk asset, as I believe, and therefore a war would initially scare people off their positions. I don't know for how long. Maybe we would see rally after or something because people lose trust in governments and that narrative will take over. That's possible after some time. But I believe that the initial reaction that could span several months or weeks, right? Nobody really knows, would be to go down, right? If the war happens. And I think the trigger is pretty easy to become true. I'm actually pretty worried about World War III. It's an awful thing that might happen, and the odds of it happening just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. So stay safe, everybody, from the virus, from World War III, and hopefully from your job if you are in the US and the government shutdown is about to happen. The government shutdown for Bitcoin, we've seen it many times during this cycle. Really don't need to discuss it that much, but usually Bitcoin goes down, right? Let's have a look at gold as well, what could happen. I think, so if we go look at recessions, past previous recessions and COVID-19, COVID-19 really gold performed like Bitcoin in a way. We had an initial sell-off and then an increase, but I think gold will be better investment during such a time, especially in times of war and in times of pandemics and government shutdowns and problems, that gold will definitely outperform Bitcoin due to the fact that it is a less risky asset and people go to it as safe havens. Now, if you want to analyze gold, what happens during times of war, it is pretty difficult because we haven't had many wars. Because here we got off the gold standard, but prior to that, during all the wars, gold was pretty stable due to it being pegged to the US dollar. And this is measured in terms of the US dollar. So post World II, World War I, it's just hard to say. But I think you would see an initial reaction downside, but then we would actually move to the upside. So the downside will be just an emotional reaction. Everybody's scared. World War III is happening. It's announced that, and then people are like, "Oh, what do I do with my cash now?" Right? Like, is it safer to buy gold? Which is something considered a safe haven, or have it in some currency of a country that might be hit badly because of either economically or militarily, right? And in one way or another. So yeah, usually when we have oil problems, gold does better. I think that makes sense. So you've seen oil shocks and stuff like that. But when you have U.S. employment rate high, then and employment problems, then of course people have less money to buy gold, especially in the richest country in the world, and therefore you would see gold going down, right? But this is logically, gold should see a small drop and a continuation up to that side. So this is why I believe that gold has more room to go. For pandemics, we've seen it before, government shutdowns, similar things. So bullish for gold, bearish for Bitcoin as for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Nothing said in this video is financial advice, by the way. But if you do like it, please like and subscribe, and I'll bring... Oh, peace out.